talked earlier about what I'm doing mostly is recording. You know, it's been a lot of time in here making records, and so with that, I just feel like I'm trying to find certain things I don't have that do one thing, you know, and maybe that's the one thing I'm looking for when I'm doing something. So I'll reach for that, and so there's always a, you know, I don't have to have multiples of a certain brand or model or what have you, even though you look around and you go, yeah, with a straight face, you can't really say that. You got 6 335s over there and a bunch of Blackguards and a dozen Strats, but they're all different, you know, and they all feel different and they sound different. And some are maple boards and some are rosewood boards, and they're drastically different just in that. So I'm always reaching for the instrument that I think is gonna suit what I'm doing, you know, and little quirky instruments too, like little neat instrument. I can't remember the maker's name, but it's a 12 string, but they're not octaved. They're the same, like a mandolin, you know, and it's just this really cool. It's a smaller instrument and a shorter scale. It's tuned up about a fifth, and I think his name is Villette, Vilettete or something like that. And they're just these really cool little instruments, and they're fun to take and put on a track with an acoustic guitar just to give it this little underneath shimmer. Or I bought some dulcimers. I never played a dulcimer before, and I sat down in the store, and pretty easy to find your way around a dulcimer. And the lady says, "You're an awfully good dulcimer player." I said, "I've never played one before." She said, "I find that hard to believe." I said, "Well, I'm a musician, but once again, banjos, mandolins, dobros, things just, you got to have all the tools, I guess, if you're going to do the job. You got to have the right tool." I love watching, you know, I always watch the guitar of the day, you know, and thumb through it and eventually find it and see something that sounds pretty cool, and you go, "Hey, that's a great instrument," and all that. You know, I've never been one for, I can't buy an instrument that I can't get in my hands and play and feel and see how it speaks and all that. So I still am not gonna be probably influenced by what I hear on YouTube or whatever to pull the trigger on something that you know. Once again, there's people you can trust and say, "How does this compare? What's the neck shape? Things like that." That's what's amazing to me, is all these vintage instruments, just depending on the year, you put it in your hand and go, "Oh, this feels like a, you know, 37 Martin because of the shape." Gibson's electric guitars, 58, 59, and 60, the profiles are drastically different, you know, and I prefer a 60 neck profile. So if somebody calls and, "Hey, I've got a 60 this or a 60 that," I know generally I'm going to like the way it feels in my hands. So all those squirrely, weird, goofy things we're all obsessed with, you know. I played a guitar one time that was the greatest sound. It happened the other day. It sounded amazing. It sounded better than the ones I had. And I got it in my hand, and the neck it was a mid-40s Gibson acoustic guitar, Southern Jumbo. And the neck was so big that it was so uncomfortable to try to get around on. But I adored the way it sounds, so I said, I can't pull the trigger on this. Same thing with an old 335 I found, and the neck it's a 59, they're bigger, and I said, this thing sounds better than anything I've ever heard, but I won't find my way to play it because I don't have big hands. So